This was from a Facebook page called Toronto Culture. Okay, it says Rogers Communication is buying the remaining 25% stake in Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment for a massive $4.35 billion, taking complete control of the city's sports empire. Stupid phone. The multi-billion-dollar buyout acquires the shares from Larry Tannenbaum's Kilmer Sports, handling Rogers' full ownership of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Raptors, Toronto FC, and Toronto Argonauts. The telecom giant already owns the Toronto Blue Jays and the Rogers Centre, meaning a single corporation now holds the keys to nearly every major professional sports franchise in the city. Kilmer Sports will retain ownership of the WNBA expansion team Toronto Tempo, as well as its recent investments in the PWHL. Rogers expects the deal to close in the fourth quarter of 2026, subject to regulatory and league approvals. Moving forward, the company plans to sell a minority stake in its consolidated sports and media portfolio over the next year to unlock long-term shareholder value. What I found interesting about this, Phil, is two things. One is Rogers, the Blue Jays have a contract with I think it's called Sports Channel. They carry all the Blue Jays games, which is a rival to TSN, which I believe they also have stocks in. And also, they own Rogers Centre, which the Argonauts have played before. And I'm wondering, Phil, if down the road, if they have a stumbling block with BMO Field, I'm wondering if we could see a return of the Argonauts to Rogers Centre. What do you think of that?
Well, my question is on that, how much percentage of that $4 billion think that the Argonauts going to get? Because you know how the pie is going to be. They're going to 9 out of 10. They're going to be like 65% going to be the Blue Jays and the other teams, and then the Argonauts get 5% of that money or stuff like that.
Right.
My thing is, and if TSN don't make it like a deal in the future, I wouldn't be surprised Sportsnet will take over CFL.
Right.
You know, and now the pros of this, more local eyeballs will watch the Argonauts. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
If more local people, if this is a Rogers thing, they'll definitely have local television for the Argonauts. So that's a good thing right there. So BMO Stadium, going back to Rogers Stadium, Rogers Center. I missed them playing at the Rogers Center, actually, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so
even though it looks like for the Blue Jays, though, they did a big rehab of the Rogers Center / Skydome to make it more of a baseball only. They reconfigured the seating. They changed a lot of, I think they have, some, entertainment areas now that used to be like the McDonald's and the Hard Rock Cafe and all that other stuff. But, I enjoyed myself when I went to a baseball game there, so, they keep that. I'm curious what they're going to do, especially with the league changing their field field dimensions, whether not they'll still stay at BMO or go to Rogers, or, as I mentioned, Rogers also owns a concert arena, which is, according to their website, is a temporary arena where I'm going to see an AC/DC concert up there. I'm wondering if they may raise that to build a new stadium too. Or
I was about to ask you that question. Do you think possibly they're going to have a new stadium for Argonauts only, or no? Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say. I would say right now no, only because they're not drawing. If they were like a big draw, they consistently sold out at 20,000, and they were fighting with Toronto FC or any other tenant at BMO, I could see maybe, then build them something. But, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing because, when we're baseball fans, so obviously I'm a Pirates fan, and the problem with the Pirates is not have enough money. One, we're a small market company, and two, the TV deal's crap.
Right.
So you go to LA, you go to Baltimore, you go to DC. Well, DC and Baltimore got the same TV network. It's up to like billions and billions of dollars, but the AT&T Sportsnet in Pittsburgh only has $16 million offered to the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, right now, actually, with Baltimore and DC, that's changed. It used to be that Masson had the Orioles and the Nationals, but the Nationals dropped out of it now. They have this crappy little thing. I've seen like them and some other teams. They have something called Nats TV, and I saw like when the Orioles played the Reds this weekend, they have something similar called Reds TV. So I think it's like Major League Baseball is just giving them their own little networks. I think they're like offshoots of like the Bally Sports Network, because I think they had some financial issues. I think maybe Major League Baseball is taking them over, but
maybe, and maybe this is a big if they can have more content if they're going to have the 25% ownership, and I'm surprised the Bills ain't part of it because they're part of that partnership. They should have more content with the Argonauts, definitely, like side shows or behind the scenes shows and stuff like that. I know that the fact that even though I badmouth Sportsnet, AT&T, they have behind the scenes Pirates baseball, Penguins baseball. You got pre-shows, you got post-shows. Mm-hmm. You can do the sky's the limit if you can put it into it. So
sure, and I know that the Blue Jays affiliate in Buffalo, they kind of struck a partnership too, where they were like trying to entice fans in Toronto and in Ontario to come to Buffalo to watch their games. So if they're buying more into, if they have that partnership with the Bills already, and they're conjoined with Rogers with the Blue Jays, so we might see something like that happen now.
And that's the thing, and as like the team, like you can sell this team if to the Toronto, you can sell it to the Toronto fans, like, hey, they had the most Grey Cup champions, they're the most prestigious team in the CFL. Right now, even though they're 2-2, they can actually be in the Grey Cup this year because they got a good enough team to do it. And you can totally spin that to the people. Like, you can spin that to the people of Toronto, definitely, you know?
And I think also, like I mentioned last week, I'm not sure what the status of the Buffalo Bills' new stadium, but next year, since they're going to have the same field dimensions as the Bills, I don't know how it would work with the Bills. I know with the Ravens and M&T Bank Stadium, any event that happens there, the Ravens get a good cut of it. I mean, whether they have a college football game, an Army-Navy game, a Metallica concert, whatever, they'll, the Ravens, as part of their little sweetheart deal with the state of Maryland, they get a percentage of any events in that stadium. So, I mean, why not have, like, the Bills, let the Argos have, like, a preseason game or two in there.
Don't you know, don't you know, like, next year they have college football games at BMO next year, you know that?
I did hear something about that, yeah.
Yeah, I think Syracuse is playing there next year. I think they had like a 4-year deal to have college football games at BMO. I don't know if that's an Argonauts Bills deal, but like slowly, like they are going to have dimensions of the NFL and college football, and I know that's a big pill to swallow to all your CFL fans, but it's already starting already because they have college football games in Toronto BMO Stadium. So you're going to see, for once, you're going to see a full crowd you're going to see a sellout crowd of football game next year. So,
and those new the new field dimensions, I think it was done partially because of BMO and Molson in Montreal, smaller stadiums. I think it won't be too bad because I've heard some of the other stadiums, like some of the newer stadiums, like with Saskatchewan, they're complaining that the stadium was built for the 110-yard field, and now it's like some of those seats that might have been premium will now be kind of like almost like obstructed view because of the new dimensions, and I don't know. So
it's like the one time you can look this up. There's that one time they had that exhibition NFL game in Winnipeg. They play at Princess, and they had the Raiders versus the Packers, and the stadium was for CFL dimension, and they messed it up big time, and they had to like play 80 yards football, and it was such a disaster. They didn't have no kickoffs or anything. It was.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that game, and I've been meaning to watch it. I keep forgetting, but probably after we record tonight, I'm gonna watch that on YouTube. That looks like I'm gonna see what a train wreck that thing was. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it was crazy. It was like NFL, like people don't remember that. Like NFL will sneakily have a game in Canada like once every 10 years before people know. Like they didn't know. Like, oh wow, they playing at Winnipeg and stuff like that. Like one year they had Seattle play at Vancouver.
Right.
And it was insane. So like next year is gonna be crazy. I know the hardcore guys are gonna say, "Oh, this is the end of CFL." I don't think so. It's just I ain't gonna like it, but I will adapt to love it. I guess I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it remains to be seen, and of course, I'm kind of worried about the scoring. As when we get to the picks, we'll talk about that. But it's like. There have been several touchdowns that have happened this year, Phil, that probably won't happen next year because the end zone won't be as deep, and
some, like I say, some of those quarterbacks, they know how to use that. And my thing is, they talk about going to be more scoring, and this is my problem on this. Like, how going to be more scoring, and we got kickers that's pretty much good with that kind of field goals situation. I don't know if you have enough field goals in that situation. I don't think you have a lot more rouge in field goals. Watch.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, I think the motivation was he thinks that the commissioner, Stuart Johnson thinks that teams will be apt to try to attempt touchdowns instead of attempt field goals more often, but I don't know if that's really going to be the case. I think it'll be the opposite. I think, some coaches might be lean more conservative with that, but I hope not. But
it's, like I say, it's like I want to be surprised, and I want to be surprised in 3 or 4 years we'll go back when it used to be.
Right.
Like, we tried this out, it didn't work. So who knows?